So hi everyone. Let's just wait for a few minutes before everyone can join in. Okay, so let's start. So today we have this session on how to engage your existing and new clients. And clients, as you know, are very important, or I'd say, is the bread and butter for for. I mean, actually, that's the thing we all are working for, right? And I have my friend again, Bhupin Garg, joining in from Canada, and he is a business consultant, and he's been with the ASC Group, heading their Canada office. So let's just start this session by introducing everyone first in the first place, and then we can go ahead with the session. I have a few interesting stories to tell from my experiences. I'm sure Bhupen also has a lot of stories to tell from his experience. But let's just start this session by introducing everyone. And at the same time, I'll request everyone to please mention if you are a student of any of our courses, so that at least I'll get to know how many people I've already interacted to and who are the new ones. Start with introducing everyone today. And especially if people are from our LawSikho courses, any of our course, so just please make a mention to me so that I can get to know you more better. Okay, so let's say, so there is Advocate Abhijit Gathraj from Ahmedabad practicing in Gujarat High Court Corporate and Commercial Litigation. Wow, that's great. Then we have CA Sumit Kansal, based in Connaught Place, New Delhi. Yeah, Sumit. Hello, I'm Advocate Vikrant Raja Suryavanshi from Pune and student of RERA course. Hi Vikrant. I think I know you, Vikrant. And then there's Advocate Akash Sherawat from Delhi. Yes, I can hear you. Yes. Okay. So Mahesh Dhanawat says this is the best time. Thank you, Mahesh. At least we are on the same page here. Hi everyone, Karan Chandwani. Karan Chandwani here. I'm a founder of Surat-based financial consultancy firm called Nidhi Fincon, serving in textile and IT sectors since last 7 years. Great. The best topic, student civil litigation. Okay, then there's Mohit. Yes, you are a contract drafting student. I think we had an interaction in the last webinar. And then there is Advocate Akash Sherawat from Delhi, enrolled in our legal practice management course. Akash, that's personally my favorite course, legal practice management course. And right now, Nipun sir is there, the faculty in that course, and he's too good. He had a webinar this afternoon, I think. And then there's Shivang was Bates. Shivang, I think, is Bhupen's colleague. We have him again. And welcome, Shivang. I mean, Advocate Sachin from Thane, Mumbai. Then there's Harmeet, who's a data scientist employed with an American MNC and a first-year law student. Great. Hey, I'm a last-year student interested in litigation. Great to know that, Bhati. This is Advocate Aslam Mirza from Delhi, partner of a law firm. Welcome, sir. And then there's Utkarsh, practicing lawyer in Delhi, student of M&A course, LawSikho. Doubtlessly, it's the best topic in the same and the time as well. Thank you, Utkarsh. Then there's Srijita, who's a first-year BA LLB student. Nitish Handa from Chandigarh is a corporate lawyer. Then there's Chetna, who's a qualified company secretary from Mumbai and has enrolled in our diploma contract drafting. Then there's Charna, who is arbitrator, mediator, mediation coach, ODR and dispute resolution consultant. That's great. Then we have Anmol Yoglila, who's a Lucknow-based architect, town planner and real estate developer. Right now, the real estate law course. Great. This is Hinduvi. I think I can't pronounce your name correctly. I'm really sorry. He's a partner of Square Edge Law Firm in Patna. Welcome, sir. And is a civil litigation court. This is Venkat, finally a law student, Bangalore, opted for Master Access. Hi, Venkat. Hi, this is Anant, a law student. Hi, Anant. Hemant is an LLM student. Then there is Tarsh Khanna, he's a second year BBA LLB student. And then there is Tuhin Chatterjee, student of LawSikho in competition law, as well as many other courses to him, sir. Okay, so we have around 49 people with us joining in at around PM. That's a good number to begin with. Okay, so generally, all these client conversations that you have, we have discussed that in the previous webinar that we did around the client conversations. And so there are two things to it, right? One is that you have already got a client and he's there with you. In that, it's a totally different situation to be in. And what I personally do in LawSikho is that I try to help you in every possible manner that I could. I mean, there are students who enroll after talking to me, and whenever they face any issues, I make sure that I write this message to them all the time that in whatever issue you come across, you can surely come and reach out to me. And again, those are, again, our students are learners, they are clients too, right? And we have been seeing a massive increase again in the numbers of people as well. I think seeing that people are really liking the services that we provide, or the courses content wise, or be it services wise, be it the support system, be it anything that you could imagine at LawSikho. And that's why we have been getting a good number of students, and a good number of students do enroll for multiple courses also. So what we do is something which we are doing right now to keep all of you engaged at the same time, so that you can actually see the whole idea here is you best use of your time, right? And that's what we counsel you all the time, that you make the best use of your time, even for that matter of joining in at for like 9 p.m. is like making a good productive use of your time by at least discussing a few things which you face challenge at, right? And at the same time, for new clients, of course, we have already discussed about it. I'll just put a brief across that you can have like different kinds of conversation to begin with. But okay, I'll probably use an example which I didn't use before. So right now, due to the coronavirus thing that is there, so while talking to anyone, I know if it's the room, right? So I begin my conversations these days by talking the coronavirus thing and what people are actually up to in their lives at this very moment when they are working from home, not even working, studying from home. Like there could be different things, right? So I keep I generally start conversations around those areas, and then on what the other wants to talk to you about, so that at least you can get a ground of things and you get into the why of that person, to understand why is that person we talked about lawyers and CAs, so we generally make sure that we understand why that person is in that position, and what I mean, then that is the only way that you can suggest a strategy or maybe help that person, right? So that's how things are, right? And so yeah, so for the new customers, new clients that you're getting, you have to be extra friendly to them. Make sure you see, the whole point of this is that I mean, the value that you generate for people, you can only ask a share of that value from that other person, right? You cannot think that I will get the whole thing. So for example, let's say you are a lawyer dealing with a case of money recovery suit maybe, and there your client is asking for, let's say, some 2 lakh rupees from his prospective client or maybe his business deal, and so you get the money for your client, and so he might be giving you a whole of 2 lakhs, but then of course he might just give you a share of it, or I don't want to get into the details of how much the share could be, because that's nowhere relevant with this topic, but he will definitely give you a share to this is all to understand like how the value is transferred. So for a new customer, of course, you need to be in that position where you transfer to the other person the value, right? And if the other person gets that value, that is the only time he's going to get engaged with you. Once he's engaged, then keeping him engaged always. So there are different techniques to it, right? So what I do personally is I read a lot of articles on IP Leaders blog. I daily at least 2 or 3 articles on the IP Leaders blog that are being updated daily. And then I make sure that the people I know, or the students or the learners who have approached me for different things, they probably, sorry. So people who have approached me for different courses, or let's say different questions or anything. So I make sure that I send them relevant articles that I come across on my daily basis. And I share, like, be it on contract drafting, or be it on, let's say, the technology law, or be it fintech regulation side. I keep, like, whatever I find relevant for the other person, I keep transferring. So that's a good way to be in connection, because sometimes you might just not have had a, yeah. So people, I was saying that people like approach me for different courses, so they have different needs, and I keep transferring them, sharing them relevant portion of the articles and all those things, and just to keep them engaged. Otherwise, also I make sure that whoever my clients are, I make sure that I wish them on their birthdays, and I make sure that I'm very well connected to them, so that the first thing that comes around to their mind is my name when they are thinking of a particular thing or trying to act. Because see, the whole point here is very simple, that motivation and confidence do not have like a real long life. And once you act on that motivation, or you probably work in some direction towards your confident, what you're confident about, then probably that life is extended, and you can actually start experiencing success also. And but you need to understand, like, how to go about it, right? So that's the whole thing. So I would like and love to hear Bhupen's thought on around the engaging of his clients, or rather, let's say, how you engage your clients on a regular basis.
Okay. Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for giving me this chance to come back again. And I think you've covered most of the grounds. I think you have covered almost everything that anyone can think of while engaging a client, or maybe a new or existing one. I also saw the people that were currently present here in the chat room. Most of them are from your territory. So I'll just keep it as general as possible and as precise as possible. Rightly said by you, Mayur, it's very important to be in touch with the client, of course. I mean, engaging them on different levels, it's very important. And remembering important days, that is, all the festivals that we have in India, wishing them Happy New Year's and wishing them or greeting them on Diwali and Holi. I think that's something that is very important to be in their inbox all the time. Sharing important information which is relevant to their business industry, it is the best way of being in touch with them on a regular basis. I think
Just to say
that's the
something in the
least.
middle, just to say
Yeah.
something in the middle, that does not mean that you start sending forwards. That's irritating. Never do that. Okay, go on.
I think that's a chance for you to just have a picture, Happy Diwali or Happy Holi, and your company's name on it. I think that would be a better way of doing it.
Right.
But yeah, of course, not going with the forwards, keeping it short and precise. I think that's the key to it. Not irritating them too much, and maybe loading them with a lot of information all the time.
Right.
So what we at ASC we try to do is we send them weekly or monthly updates on what's happening in their industry one, and industry in general. So what is happening in the field of finance, what changes are there in taxation that is related to what they're doing, their businesses. I think sharing relevant information is one way of getting in touch with them. I think my way of looking at it is the most important thing is for you to be in touch with them, not on a weekly or a monthly basis. I think we cannot put a timeline on it, but not putting a timeline. What the best we can do is just pick up the phone and give them a call to connect with them on a personal front where they're comfortable speaking with us about different things, not only just business. So it's always good to find parallel services that can be sold once you've cracked the client. There must be other services that you might think that can be pitched to the client and get more business from them. But I think restricting yourself just a little bit more and not talk too much about business can also be a good thing. So maybe you might want to get connected with the client on personal fronts. Maybe you guys can have hobbies that you might share together. There might be things that you like to do together. You might want to maybe go out for dinner with families. You have similar backgrounds. So I think having that personal touch even before you crack the client is always helpful. And in that way, you can get a lot of referral business. That is, if that person trusts you uh, in person, I think he or she will be able to refer you to more of his or her friends and business accomplices who will eventually get you more business rather than just digging for more business from one place. So yeah, Mayur, I think that is it. I think Shivang can add to it if he's okay with that.
Yeah, definitely. See, totally. There are two type of people that we have to approach out here: the already existing one and the new people. So I totally believe that keeping in touch with the existing people is very important. Like my day-to-day activities would be very simple. I go out trying to talk to four new people and at least tap onto two old people so that I have a link. I can make build up leads on a daily basis with new plans, and I can look for opportunities of cross selling to the older people that I already have. And when we go out talking to the people who are existing in our client list, we can simply send them regular updates and new development in whatever the policies are. And you can simply ask them to go follow your company page and not solicitate them to write a review or anything, but just ask them to, why don't you follow us on Facebook? We regularly post out there. And having a good social media team also really helps at times.
Right.
I agree.
Right. So the whole point is that why is it so important to keep them engaged all the time is because of a term which Shivang correctly used is upselling. So as I had discussed before, that there's a lifetime value to a customer. So you also have to keep generating that value for your customer, for your client, for your if you are in the services part, like whatever you do, you have to keep generating that value over and over again. And why that is important is because as an organization or as an individual also handling multiple clients, your area has to grow. And you can't simply be concentrating on only the new people that are coming through. And you need to, I mean, understand that the person who's attached to you should always be attached to you and should not go anywhere else, right? So I think brand loyalty is what I'm talking about, right?
Right. We're just
So
adding to one point to that. I think regular feedback is what is very important. And of course, asking for references from them.
Sure, regular feedbacks are most important. I think you getting feedback is the learning. So because you keep exploring the new values that you can add to people's life or already existing people that are there. So those values will continue. Okay. And so why is that so important? So I'll tell you my example. So whenever like a student or a learner who approaches me and once I've given him some value and I've discussed with him how things are going to be solved for him if he follows this strategy, and then he actually feels and like gets there somehow, and then he messages me again. He says, because of your guidance, I could do that. So that's like the most proud I think I feel at that moment. Won't be bad to say, but it really makes me feel my own value that yeah, I have done by adding some value to that person. Maybe that's not monetary always, but yeah, definitely yes, because of the guidance I gave to other person, and if he happens to like create like, I mean, I can't explain it any further that how this thing can be done. At the same time, like there are different clients too. I mean, but I mean, as they say, there are no bad clients. Okay, a client is always a good client and not a bad client. And I learned that while I was, there at the Rajasthan High Court working as a publisher. So my lawyer friends, my relatives, all those people, they used to tell me that there's this slang. I'll use that slang only. कि वकील केस नहीं हारता है, क्लाइंट हारता है, वकील तो हमेशा जीतता ही है. ठीक है, तो अब वो क्लाइंट इतना जरूरी है कि अगर आप केस हार भी गए हो उसके बाद भी वो आपके पास केस लेके आ रहा है, तो दैट्स द विक्ट्री. दैट्स हाउ यू कीप योर क्लाइंट्स एंगेज्ड. इट्स एज सिंपल एज दैट, right? You might lose a case because of the circumstances, because of the facts that are prevalent, but that other person trusts you enough that he keeps continuing to, like, he's continuously engaged with you. And there's so many techniques, like you keep, there's this question also in the chat that I was reading, that how do you keep your clients engaged in this moment, like where everything is locked down? So you can actually start sharing by, let's say, on posting on LinkedIn or Facebook for that matter. Start, tagging some. If you find them, like if you find that there's some value for them in that very post, and you start telling them like how you have been spending time and making productive use of your time. That might even be sharing that you've been attending webinars with us, and maybe about other things that you are generally doing working from home, and how has been the experience and how are things rolling. At the same time, if you are an advocate, it's actually a good phase where the courts are not functional, that you engage a lot more with your clients other than definitely about the matters. You can start a interaction with your existing clients about these things, like how the matter was going, and because you haven't got so much time in a long time, and now that the courts are shut or people are not moving out of their houses, so good time to tell them like what was the status of their case, how things could be actually channelized in a better manner, what could be those points which you could discuss about things you haven't got time to actually discuss. So that could be a good use of time, as well as you that could be used to connect even more better with your client, or so that way he will also feel the seriousness that you have towards this particular end. And it is always important, or I'll say rather most important, that you make your client feel that he's the most important part of your life, right? So once you start making the other person or your client feel that he is an important part in your life, and you've been thinking about him but you didn't get time to talk about it, then probably this is the right time you start reaching out to those people. If there are any deals or proposals that are pending, sure, follow up with those people whom you haven't been able to get touch with. That could be a good idea to actually utilize this lockdown phase and build more relationships. So what is important here is this trust relationship which your client has with you. And it could be, trust could be different, like he might trust you for some or the other reasons, but you have to make sure like you maintain that trust and you keep interacting, keep giving that value. And probably that once you have done all of these things, then the client is not going to go anywhere else. Like, giving the example of LawSikho. So our students, once they have done any course with us, they generally don't feel a need of going anywhere else for their needs. And sometimes the students end up buying multiple courses, sometimes they end up buying master access programs, and then they enroll simply for it, they use it for their library purposes and all those things. And then again, that because that student is currently continuously engaged with us, right? We have been delivering those values to our students, right? And that's how we, have been doing it since the inception at LawSikho. I mean, that's how you keep them engaged. And you have to tell them about different things. And it could be any interaction for that matter. If you are also confused, a simple hey, right? And that could be a good beginning to a new conversation altogether. So you can discuss what could be prospective practice, where you can actually grow things for your client. Like if you're a CA, for example, so you can definitely interact to your clients in this situation where the coronavirus thing is there, and you can talk to them about how you can actually increase value for them. Tell them like that you can draft multiple contracts for them. Maybe you can actually review what all contracts are there already and start giving them suggestions and inputs where they can improve things. And there'll be a good way to again interact. And then going ahead, this phase is, aaj nahi hoga, kal nahi hoga, but this whole lockdown thing has to get over. What next, right? Then there'll be again a bright sunny day where we all will be working again and doing whatever we are good at, right? So you have to keep this in mind, that this lockdown phase has to be made more productive, because you have, actually have a lot more time. And the same has been happening with me also. Once this lockdown was not there, so I used to be in office 10:30 in the morning, and used to be back by 9:30. But now, once the lockdown thing has come, I wake up 8 a.m. in the morning and I start working. And right now it's 9:32. We are doing this webinar, so I'm still working, right? So it is actually increasing my productivity. I'm whatever things I was not able to manage in this course of time. I'm trying to manage things now. Been trying to interact with a lot more people on a daily basis, and that's yeah. So Bhupin, what are you up to in this lockdown phase?
Well, I actually wanted to convey this as well. I recently started this activity where we can say that it's more to engage clients on the business front. But what I've been trying to do every day is engage with at least three people, three clients, and just call them without having a timeline on it. So I'm just calling them and asking them as to what or how they're utilizing this time, because I have nothing in my mind which I can put. I cannot put my mind to any use. I cannot make this time productive, and I'm feeling this anxiety. And I thought I'll call you and I'll ask you what you are up to, so that maybe we can share some ideas. And maybe and these calls, I'm not thinking that these calls are not for pitching business, not for engaging them to upsell. It's basically very generic calls where they're comfortable speaking with me, I'm comfortable speaking with them, on a very general note that since this virus has come, this has been a lot of business loss. The transactions, they've gone down and the business is going down, and how we are going to go to the offices once it's all gone. So this loss of 3 to 6 months that we are expecting out of this virus, what is that they are planning to do to cover this up, which we can also implement as a business. So what I'm trying to do is speak to my clients about what they're currently doing and what is that they're thinking to do after this is all gone. And I find some very interesting answers, and I find myself speaking with them for more than half an hour, 45 minutes, and all general conversations. It has nothing to do with businesses. It has nothing to do with what services we are currently selling them, what kind of feedbacks they have for us. It doesn't really matter. Everything is boiled down to how comfortable they are to speak with me about the problems they're currently facing because of this virus. So yeah, that's something that you can also try.
So at the same time, like the business owner I connect with, or the people into the business, or be it in litigation also, or be it for that matter a corporate practitioner. So I generally put this across to them, like how are things going for them, like how are they actually using their time. to the best possible way. And people have different things. So I openly talk about business. Like, I mean, yeah, what are you up to? How do you think you can figure this situation out? And how do you think that this situation, I mean, how long this situation would be persistent? And all those things, yeah, generally I talk about. And so I receive, I mean, different answers from people. Like last night, I was talking to somebody who is an M&A lawyer based out of Kolkata, and he told me that he's utilizing his time. There's this M&A deal that is supposed to happen, and he is putting all his time to that deal. And probably he's most of the day he's on video conference or on calls to discuss those M&A matters and get it done, probably, yes. But at the same time, yeah, I do agree there's a huge dip in the market, that a lot of finances have been hit hardly. And personally saying, I think this is going to get even worse coming by
Yeah,
what things are
let's not
rolling
hope so.
right now. Yeah, so this is going to get even worse. So you need to prepare yourself and actually make up your mind. Like you need to start planning and strategizing things for you, so that you can actually make this time more productive and a lot more, I mean, progressive, I would say, in the matter of, I mean, once this phase is over, we are anyways going to be out there working again. And that's the time which will create a huge difference. There'll be people who will be sitting at home, not really working on things, not utilizing their time. And everyone knows how things will roll out in that such a situation, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so we have some more people who had mentioned, like, introduce themselves. So let me just take out a minute and introduce everyone. So this Gaurav Malhotra, who's a practicing advocate in Delhi and Gurgaon. Hi, Gaurav. And then there's Mohit, practicing in District Court Rohtak, right? And then there's Bharti. She says webinars are also a great idea. Thank you, Bharti. This keeps us going and planning more and more webinars for you people. How can we keep the client engaged in this period? I think, Mahesh, I have already answered your query at length, that how can we keep the client engaged in this period? And then Abhijit, could you please elaborate on lifetime value with respect to law professional perspective? Yeah, that's an interesting question. So lifetime value for that matter is like in that situation I told you about, that let's suppose your client is a businessman. And so in general practice, businessmen face a lot of challenges, like the check bounce cases is one very common to everyone. And then there's money recovery suits. Those are again also very common. So let's suppose you got engaged with a client because of the techniques that you follow, and you let him know that you are a person who works in this area, and that person approaches you and you take that case and you start working on that case. Now imagine a situation that you have already got him money. Let's say it was a 2 lakh rupees dispute and you got that money for your client. And that time he paid, let's say, not much, but he paid you out of reference and everything. He paid you maybe 20,000. So the next time, because you have generated that value for him, he'll definitely come back to you, right? Because see, the problem is not going to get over. That's the same example with doctors too. I mean, doctors, if doctors think that we don't generate value anymore for our, the people approaching them for treatments, then in that case, that's not a high solution. Okay, once if you have visited a doctor and you did not get any relief from that person, then you're never going to go back, right? So the same is with your client too. I mean, the client approaches you and you satisfy him. Maybe winning or losing the case is altogether a different thing. But at the same time, if you generate some value for him and if you show him your real hard work that you put in for his case, then probably he's going to come back to you again. And coming back to the example that I was quoting, so once if you have handled a check bounce case for your customer and successfully got him the money back, going by the law, maybe you got it processed faster. There could be a number of things that you have done to give that extra value add to your client. So then any which ways he's going to come back again to you, or probably in a lot of scenarios that I have also come across, that people start with one check bounce case, and then there is a line of all check bounce cases or money recovery suits. That's how it is in the profession, right? So that's how the lifetime value here would be, that the customer coming back to you again and again, right? So the first time he came to you, you generated a value and took like 20,000, that was like 10%. So next time he comes to you, you can tell him like last time I did for you, and this much you already know that this is how I work. So probably this time you can offer me something else, like a higher amount maybe, or more satisfaction, right? So that's how you actually calculate the lifetime value, that for how longer period of time that person has been with you, and how much business have you actually generated from that person, or how much number of cases that you have come across with that person. So in the law professional perspective, I think this is what I think a lifetime value for a client would be, right? Then there's Mohit, who is asking maybe by newsletters relating to daily changes by government review. That's definitely a great idea to go with, that you send them daily newsletters, maybe emails, maybe WhatsApps, maybe try connecting to them over LinkedIn personal messages too at times. And that definitely is a good idea, that you start sending them newsletters, because that's how people keep engaged. Because I've seen that personally, that people also wait, LawSikho daily email is one thing, that we get a lot of response from people that they've been waiting for the daily email to come, and they've been getting good values, and we do get a good number of replies for our emails too, and we have been writing continuously on coronavirus regularly. So yeah, newsletter is a good idea to engage your clients. Can we tell clients to attend webinar of LawSikho? Do arrange one for them too. For sure, you can tell them. There's a LawSikho webinars group. I just put that in chat for you, for everyone, so that they can join that chat group, WhatsApp group, and then all the details of all the webinars happening daily are shared there, and people can join in from that link, right? So, and then there is Advocate Sachin. How can we tackle the clients who are taking advantage of trust factor? Is it needs to be done sometime blunt but professional face? How can we tackle close friends, relatives and neighbors who sometimes become clients? Is it necessary to have communicate with us soft spoken at all times? I would say not really. I mean, there'll be times that where you need to fire your prospective client too, because he's been delaying things maybe beyond your control or your patience level. But I will still say that you need to be more patient, be more calm, because ultimately once a client says no to you, then he's never going to come back. And never going to come back situation, I personally feel I don't want in my life. That I talk to somebody or I start initiating a deal, and that person doesn't come back to me ever again, or in talking to. Because once you raise your voice or you become a little violent, then it hurts the sentiments of people. The other people's repel also to this point. So at times, yes, if needed, you could resort to that, but not always, for sure. Right? Depends on situation to situation. Like, what is the situation? That probably, a good way to answer that, right? How to make new clients if we are the first generation lawyers? Oh, that's a good question, Bharti. So if you're a first generation lawyer, I think you probably have a lot of advantage. How? Because first generation lawyers generally put in a lot of more hard work than what the second or third generation lawyers do. Yes, it's difficult for them to actually maintain that name and fame that their previous generations have built for them. So if you are a first generation lawyer and you want to build up your practice, start offering some free services to your prospective clients. By that I mean, you can draft like a notice or two for them for free and help them across. Once you are engaged with them on a regular basis, by maybe the techniques we discussed, or anything else that approaches to your mind, you can obviously discuss it with us. So you can keep those clients engaged, and then it hardly matters whether you're a first generation lawyer or a second generation lawyer or whatsoever. So I was with one of my friends who's a lawyer and based out of Jaipur, and one of his clients came. I was visiting his office, and one of his clients came, and he was a good businessman. He had two managers with him, and this guy approached him for 100 crore case, and then he probably then after a little conversation, the client asked questions my friend that I think you are too young to handle this, right? So a lot of people, I think, must have also faced this. So he said, sir, I think by your appearance and by you coming in, I feel that you have a lot of money and you are a successful person. So I don't think that success was built overnight for you. I don't think that your client, must have thought the same, that you are pretty young to carry this out. If that would have been the case, then you must have not approached me altogether. So, going by your case, be it 100 crore or be it 200 crore, be it 1000 crores, it doesn't really matter to me. What matters to me is satisfying what your need is, because you have approached me for a reason and I want you to give that solution, right? So that's how he handled that particular situation, and that was a learning for me too. So that's why I shared it here, right? Please introduce Mr. Bhupendra Garg. His name is Bhupen Garg and not Bhupendra. Can you please throw some light on law firms, entities handling clients? Can you please throw some light on body law firms in tier 2 handling clients? So the law firms handling clients, see, it's very clear. In a law firm, not everyone can be expected to get clients. Whereas if you are a lawyer in practicing individually, then all the clients would be approaching you. But at the same time, you need to figure out one person or two person or 4%, depending upon the size of your law firm, how many people should actually start focusing on business development activities. And that is actually going to make you learn. I'm sorry. That is actually make you learn how you can handle multiple clients, because then the processes would be divided. That person would be actually guiding you as to how and what the clients are feeling, and they'll give you a good perspective about how and what the clients are feeling about the law firm. So that will be a good way of handling those clients, where you can actually designate one or two, three, depending upon the size of the firm. You can designate a few people who can start learning some business development techniques. And also, we at LawSikho have a course around this, which is called Legal Practice Management. And in that course, we have sessions around these topics only: how to engage more clients, how to get more clients. What are the different techniques where you can actually add value to your clients, how you can do team building, and all those things are there as a part of the module, like the curriculum for the legal practice management course. Okay, so that could be a good way for you to learn those skills about how to handle more and more clients as a budding, right? So, how to get new corporate clients or contract-related work as a newly enrolled advocate with 0% experience and no contacts. Okay, so for that, I think you need to approach people first, making them your connections on LinkedIn, start approaching them. If you have their numbers or email IDs, start writing them an email that you are an advocate, you possess the skill of drafting such contracts. That I mean, you have to give some examples to them, of course, to attract more people, so that you have done these skills. And if you are a co-student for us, then you can definitely highlight it to them that you have learned these skills of drafting these contracts from a LawSikho course called Diploma in Advanced Contract Drafting. And there you could actually possibly, tell them that you have these skills in place, and you can actually help them with their numerous contracts that they have. But a good way to start with would be offering some free services. Because, see, however bad or good it may sound, until unless you give out something, some value for free to people, people are not going to come to you. Because by charging money, every other second person in the industry is doing that, right? So people are not looking from that perspective altogether. So you need to understand what they are thinking, and then why they are thinking, and then act accordingly. That is going to give you a good solution for attracting clients with 0% experience, as you have rightly mentioned, Siraj. And I hope that this 0% experience would not be there again, right? So some next question is from some clients are more influenced by police persons in a criminal case, and the emphasis to do as they are directed by the police personnel. What can be done by a new advocate in such a situation? Okay, so again, you need to understand why is that person influenced by the police person. Is he really scared of something happening to him, or is it something else that they are looking at? Is it some other reason? And that reason could actually tell you why is he in that situation. Then you can actually decide on a strategy which is going to be helpful for that person. And a new advocate should definitely do that. I mean, you should definitely ask your client why is he in such a position where he's scared or influenced by the police persons in a criminal case. And then definitely, yes, interacting with police at times could also be a solution, that you be the guiding light and you actually talk it out for your client, because that's what in some cases your client would require you to do. And at the same time, you get into the why of that police person also, to understand why is he creating such a mess for your client. So there'll be a good way to solve these situations. Free services is never appreciated by client, as we never like to go on non-experienced lawyer. Free services never appreciated by client, as we never. I don't think that free services are not appreciated. If those free services have no value at all, then in that case, yes, then people will not appreciate those free services. But if you are generating some value to the other person you are prospecting or you are trying to relationship with, then definitely he's going to give you a good response for your free services that you're giving him. Right. Next is from Raj Chaurasia. He's a first year student of 3 year law course. I am currently doing internship in my city at Chambar. I have 3 years and also enrolled for contract drafting course. So how can I at this time can engage more people so that when I graduated, I have market to start my practice. So right now, Raj, I think we have interacted over WhatsApp too. So right now, the good idea to go ahead with, probably make use of this time to put in your efforts towards learning contract drafting. You can get in touch with me. I'll help you to get more exercises which you can solve during this free time, and that will give you a good practice, because we generally evaluate all your contracts that you draft in our courses, and then we give you feedbacks around the same. So this time you can utilize for this, and then at the same time, once things are back to normal, to start approaching. Or If things are not getting normal for a longer period of time, then in that case, I would say start emailing people about what are the different kinds of contracts. You can start by approaching startups for that matter, about what are the different kinds of contracts that are required for them. You have to have like a detailed study about what are the different types of contracts, and then you can surely tell them that these are the contracts, and I can help you with all of the above. And that could be a good way for you to begin. Thank you for your valuable experience. Utkarsh, please let us know what businesses will be under distress after this situation and how to start pitching them from now onwards. Maybe even speculations from you esteemed people may help us. Okay, so I am definitely not a Jyotishi, but I'll tell you what I feel. So all these traditional businesses that are there, the shops that are run by people, be it like the kirana shops and all these things, markets, like different markets where people go for shopping and all those things, these would be the most affected businesses after this coronavirus scare. And it definitely would be wondering for a strategy to go online, because by that time, and seeing the condition that is going right now, they'll probably realize that it's high time that they have to migrate to online and start building their business there. And online, as it has been the case, it has been here for a while, and people have already built big names around those areas. I was recently going through Instagram when I saw this post that while in the 2010 era, all these big companies like Uber and there were 4 or 5 more names mentioned there, they only came up, the startups only came up around that area where that recession was happening. They actually address the needs of those people and start planning accordingly. It cannot be a last moment planning that you do for all these things. You have to be clear, think about situations, and then structure it accordingly and put it down to paper if needed. That is going to help you even more, right? That shall be amount to soliciting work, which shall be a BCI regulations. I am not sure what are you talking about, which is against the BCI regulations. So if you can put it again in the chat box, I'll be more than happy to answer why I said such a thing. Okay, where the legalities can be involved and where to work upon to help them bail out. So help them bail out is a different situation altogether, where the person is actually in an emergency situation because your client is actually inside the jail and you're trying to get him out. And that's like an emergency situation. And in that emergency situation, I would rather suggest to be calm and follow the process that is there and try to get it done this way. Otherwise, the good idea is to, start making it like urgent hearings or something that is going to get to maybe a better outcome. Can we make emails? Is that allowed under the BAL rules? I don't think it's anywhere barred under the bar rules. And these emails are basically the newsletters we were talking about. And I'm not asking you to draft emails where you tell your clients that these are the specific things that are there. And if that would have been the case, then Google listings would also have been banned, right? People do have, advocates do have Google listings and all those things, right? Okay, so those were all these questions. So there's one more question, sir. Can we collaborative program with advocates on profit sharing ratio in regards with client relation? See, I can't really comment exactly on how you should go about things on profit sharing ratios and all those things. It depends from person to person. All these are not like textbook things that I can tell you that yes, this is going to work out. But yes, in some situations, if you feel that that is the only way to get out of the situation and have some clientele control, then yes, maybe profit sharing could be an answer, but not always for sure, right? So again, as we do in all our webinars, I request you to rate this on 1 to 10. And also you can comment about what all new topics you want us to discuss on, and we'll surely be there with you. Also on Sunday, we are planning a webinar around how tax affects the startups. So there'll be again one interesting topic, and I'm trying to get a great guest for the same webinar. Will be a director. Bhupen, you have something to add on to this discussion?
No, I think Mayur, you did really well. I mean, it was totally surrounded by lawyers, and I think that's not my territory and domain. But I think I got to learn a lot of things from all these great questions that you guys put up. Thank you so much, everyone, for your time, and it was great. Mayur, keep up the great work, man.
Uh, Thank you, Bhupen. And also, I mean, why do you think that this is not your territory, man? I mean, you at ASC deal with legal and compliance issues, right? So you also have to deal, and your team at ASC also has a lot of lawyers, yeah?
Yeah, my team does have a lot of lawyers, and if any of these students, if they want to intern or something, or maybe learn a couple of things from firm, I think that'd be a great opportunity for us as well. But apart from that, I think I'm more into chartered accountancy, and for these students who are coming up with their own ideas of how to engage their new clients, I think it's really complicated. But I think you handle it well. My only suggestion would be just take it as it is. Let it be organic and natural, and let it flow the way it should. So just stick around and make conversations, and I think probably you'll end up having more clients in the future.
Right. So can we have like ratings from more people? Because I see there are 32 people and we haven't received many ratings. So it'll be good, because this is the thing that is going to help us to improve our future webinars, right? And also I'm just posting the link of our webinars group that you could join. This is the link to the WhatsApp group. This is my contact number. You can reach me for any of our courses as well as for consultation. Even if you don't want to buy a course, you need any of my help, you want to have a discussion, I'll be more than happy to help you all, right? So, okay, that's great. But when we have been receiving 9-10 from everyone, I think we should continue the spree of having these webinars for more and more people. And about the time, already I think we discussed it at length. So let us call it a night. It's already 10 p.m. in India, and I think it's a good time to be okay. So bye-bye everyone. See you again. Bye.